So students enjoyed the cricket shown in video and understood the meaning of escape velocity. So a particular value of initial velocity of an object which can overcome the downward pull by the earth and can escape the earth forever and will not fall back on the earth is called escape velocity. How do we calculate it? Of course, with Newton's gravitational equation, F is equal to G into M upon R square. And with some previous knowledge of law of conservation of energy. To calculate escape velocity, if an object is projected at escape velocity upward, then gravitational force goes on decreasing and it will become zero at infinity. That is, when it is far, far away from Earth, there will be no pull or no gravity and the object comes to rest. Let's calculate the energy of the body while moving from Earth and also at rest at infinity. Energy of the body on Earth while moving is upward is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy E1. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. Potential energy is equal to minus G into M upon R. Total energy is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy is equal to half mv square plus into bracket minus G into M upon R, bracket complete. Energy of the object at infinity is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy E2. Since body is at rest, kinetic energy is 0. Potential energy is equal to minus G into M divided by infinity. Anything divided by infinity is 0. So potential energy too becomes 0. So total energy of E2 is equal to kinetic energy plus potential energy is equal to 0 plus 0 equal to 0. Now according to law of conservation of energy, E1 is equal to E2. Half mv square minus G into M upon R equals 0. Therefore, half mv square is equal to G into M upon R. V square is equal to G into M upon R into 2 upon M. Cancelling the term small m, we get V square is equal to 2 into G into M upon R. Taking the square root, V is equal to root of 2 into G into M upon R. Therefore, escape velocity is equal to V is equal to root of 2 into G into M upon R. Multiplying and dividing by R, we get root 2 into G into M into R upon R square. But G is equal to Gm upon R square. Hence, escape velocity is equal to V is equal to root 2 into G into R equal to root of 2 into 9.8 into 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 equal to 11.2. So, escape velocity is equal to 11.2 kilometer per second. The spacecrafts which are sent to the moon or other planets have to have their initial velocity larger than the escape velocity so that they can overcome Earth's gravitational attraction and can travel to these heavenly objects. So we conclude the lesson over here. Textual questions on page 14 and page 15 to be solved on your own. However, question 2D, question 3 and question 4 have been solved for your reference. Please go through it. A stone thrown vertically upwards with initial velocity u reaches a height h before coming down. Show that the time taken to go up is the same as the time taken to go down. We will find out the time while ascending and while descending. Initial velocity u, final velocity v, which is 0, height is h. Accordingly, a is equal to minus g and time is t1. Similarly, in descending, u will be at 0, v final velocity, height h, a will be now plus g as it is coming towards the ground, and t2 will be the time. During ascent, we take the first equation, v is equal to u plus at, substituting 0 is equal to u plus into bracket minus g, bracket complete, into t1 gives you 0 is equal to u minus gt1, which is u is equal to gt1. Second equation gives us s is equal to ut plus half at square. S is nothing but height. U, we have already got the value gt1 which we substitute over here. So gt1 in the bracket into t1 plus half into bracket minus g, bracket complete, t1 square. Please refer to the table on the previous slide. You will be able to understand the values substituted over here. Therefore, h is equal to g t1 square minus g t1 square upon 2. Taking out g t1 square in common, we get in the bracket 1 minus 1 upon 2, which is equal to 1 upon 2. Therefore, h is equal to 1 upon 2 into g into t1 square. That's your first equation. Now we come to descent. Using the second equation, s is equal to ut plus half at square. S being h, initial velocity is 0. So 0 plus half, a is plus g and the time taken is t2. So t2 square. Therefore we get h is equal to 1 upon 2 into g into t2 square, which is your equation 2. From 1 and 2, we get to see 1 upon 2 g t1 square is equal to 1 upon 2 into g t2 square. On cancelling the common terms, we get t1 square is equal to t2 square. Therefore, t1 is equal to t2. Hence, time taken to go up is same as time taken to come down, thus proved. Question 3. Explain why the value of small g is 0 at the center of the earth. At the center of the earth, the mass of the earth is equally distributed in all directions, so force pulling equally in all directions, resulting in net zero pull. As the distance from the center decreases, the acceleration due to gravity also decreases. At the center, the distance is 0. Hence, the value of is 0 at the center of the earth. This is shown as follows. Let m be the mass of earth, r its radius, g its universal constant, and small g is acceleration due to gravity. We have g is equal to g into m divided by r square. Multiplying and dividing by volume v, we get g is equal to g into m divided by r square into v upon v. Rearranging, we get g into m upon v into v upon r square. M upon v is density, mass upon volume. Further, we substitute the v as volume of sphere is v is equal to 4 upon 3 pi r cube. And finally, we get g into density into 4 upon 3 pi r, the cube and the square being cancelled. G into density into 4 upon 3 pi is a constant. So g is equal to constant into r. As at the center of earth, the radius is equal to 0. Therefore, g is equal to constant into 0 and hence g is 0. Fourth question, let the period of revolution of a planet at a distance r from a star be t. Prove that if it was a distance of 2r from the star, its period of revolution will be root of 8t. Given is distance of the planet from the star r, period of revolution of a planet around star t. When r becomes 2r, let period of revolution of planet around star be t dash. So we have to prove t dash is equal to root of a t. Consider a planet whose distance from star is r is travelling around the star, its period of revolution being t. By Kepler's third law, we get t square directly proportional to r cube. T square upon r cube is equal to k. When r becomes 2r and t is becoming t dash, by substituting it, we get t dash the whole square upon 2r the whole cube is equal to k from these above equations. So, t1 the whole square upon 8 into r cube is equal to k. T square upon r cube is equal to t1 t dash the whole square upon 8 r cube. Cancelling the common terms, we get 8 t square is equal to t raised to dash. Therefore, t raised to dash is equal to under the square root 8t square. Taking the square root on both sides, we get t dash, that is the new time or the period of revolution, is root 8 of the original period of revolution. Hence proved. Read the lesson properly and complete today's assignment. In case of any doubt or query, kindly message only on your respective Science 1 teacher's personal WhatsApp. In the next class, we will be solving the numericals of question 5. Thank you.